Hey, you two, what's going on with y'all, man? Now, look, today, we going to learn a little something today, bro. Now, this video is called How American Culture Conquered Everything. And then the video, when you click on it, it changes the title to How America Got So Stupid. Now, this video is only about 10 minutes, so we going to learn something today, bro. Like, let's see what's going on.
These people can't name a country because they don't care about other countries. 40% of Americans have a passport, compared to 66% of Canadians and 76% of Brits. In 1994, it was only 10% of Americans. But that doesn't mean Americans have gotten more globe-trotting since then. It was because after an above-average episode of the news, it became mandatory to need a passport when entering Canada and Mexico. So it's fair to say that a very small percent of Americans will be leaving this corner of the world. As I said in a previous video, America has all you'd ever want.
This is the thing though, so he just compared this whole, listen bro, he just compared this whole area right here, including this, to right here, Britain, bro. He said Brits. Of course you all have a passport. Where else do you go? This is like not even as big as Ohio, bro. And the weather over here, I heard it barely gets sunny like that. So of course you guys are leaving.
Of the world. As I said in a previous video, America has all you'd ever want geographically within her borders. Why go anywhere else? The foreign cultures, maybe? Americans don't care about that either. On the list of the highest foreign cultures, maybe? Americans
say, it's funny to me that they decided Americans are the only ones who might not realize they're foreigners, foreign passport.
Don't care about that either. On the list of the highest grossing movies in the USA, you have to go all the way to 520th place to get a movie that isn't American.
Of course.
It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, by the way. Couldn't even beat The Nutty Professor. Somebody please check up on Ang Lee. I think he might have killed himself. Neither do global affairs hold the average American's interest. When asked about the Kyoto Climate Accords, who the Taliban are, or who Nicolas Sarkozy is, Americans are woefully underinformed compared to other developed nations.
I wonder why that is.
In 2009, only half knew that last year's Olympics were held in Beijing. Oh, but of course, when asked to name American celebrities, they had no trouble.
I honestly can't even tell you where the last 5 Olympics have been. Who watches the Olympics, bro?
At all. At the same time, we non-Americans are flooded with American culture.
Absolutely.
Some British people know more about American politics and history than their own.
Once you're dropped into the trench, depth, or the z-axis is...
It's z-axis, you floppy-haired moron. France had...
See, that's interesting. Y'all call it Z. That's deep.
...to pass laws banning radio stations from playing too much American music. There are only 2 countries in the world where Coca-Cola is not sold.
That's deep.
Wait, scratch that. This journalist from Finland bought a Coke at a water park in Pyongyang in 2017. And what's this hiding in the background of somebody's holiday snaps at the National Hotel de Cuba? Look, you know something's up when remote tribesmen in the Amazon rainforest who don't even have electricity know who Michael Jackson is. Americans used to be quite well read.
We just talented like that, man. We just make the best music. Like, that's what's going on. France is over there hating. They say they don't want to listen to that much American music through the radios. They just over there hating. And it's interesting because France actually got some good rappers, but it's just Americans, bro. I don't know. We just like that when it comes to the music, bro. We just call it.
After the Second World War, Americans consumed 63% of all the newspapers in the world, and they used this to their advantage. In 1948, the newly formed United Nations created a list of human rights that all countries should strive to uphold. One area that Americans were particularly interested in was this one, Article 19. Everyone has the right to freedom of expression and opinion, and receive and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. What the USA wanted was a completely level playing field. Anyone can buy any media from any other country. A global free market of ideas, released from the shackles of censorship. For if anyone...
That's interesting because in this day and age, everything is censored, bro.
One can gain access to the truth. We cannot be marched into the same kind of ignorance and intolerance that characterized the Axis nations of the war. This is admirable. Freedom of speech is a core value of the United States and many other allied nations. But some delegates, like those from India, questioned the US's motives. If you believe in an equal access to information and culture, shouldn't you redistribute some of your media creating capacity to developing nations like ours,
right?
So that we have an equal opportunity to tell
facts. Because it's like I don't even hear stories from other perspectives from different countries, man, unless I'm in some YouTube comments or I'm online somewhere. I can't even name the most popular Russian newspaper outlet. I can't name the most popular Indian newspaper outlet. Same for China. I can't even tell you 3 of their media companies, bro. And I think that's bad. I should be able to just check in, bro.
Tell the world our stories.
I think that's bad.
The Americans would not budge. Of course, they knew deep down that India was right. The American delegation to the convention was highly populated by journalists and media magnates. They knew that if countries couldn't afford their own news, they would be increasingly reliant on buying news from American wire companies like the Associated Press.
So they playing chess, bro, and chess is like war, and you need money to go to war, man. So America been putting these pieces together for a while, bro.
Which was good for both the media companies' profits, but also the US State Department, who would no doubt have been licking their lips at the prospect of 1 billion people reading news with a specific American spin on it.
Manipulation, man.
In 1944,
Power.
the Associated Press sold news to 38 countries. Within 8 years, that had doubled to 70 countries.
Hey, let's go ahead and clap it up for New Zealand. They actually made this map. You know, a lot of the times New Zealand doesn't even make the map. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. They made it this time. That's what's up, man. Let's get it.
News to 38 countries. Within 8 years, that had doubled to 70 countries. In the 1950s, around half of films shown in European and Asian cinemas were American. 2/3 in Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina.
So this is
which
what
makes
happened.
sense.
So now we got the actual answer. So this is really why America seems to be influencing the world. And this started in, I believe he's saying, the 50s. So America just had control of all of the media outlet in a lot of other countries. Boom, okay.
2/3 in Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina.
That's a lot, bro.
Which makes sense. Americans made grand Technicolor films brimming with Hollywood sparkle because they could afford to.
Yeah.
Whereas war-torn Europe, impoverished Mexico, and nuclear-obliterated Japan were stuck making small-scale comedies to keep up morale. One of the most
I like how you said that, bro. Obliterated Japan, bro. Did them dirty. America is not really the good people, huh? They really the evil ones, man. I'm already knowing, bro. I already know.
Japan were stuck making small-scale comedies to keep up morale. One of the most popular French movies in 40s France was 1949's The Big Day, a mostly plotless movie where a whimsical French postman gets into wacky mischief in a quaint village. There just wasn't the money or resources for anything else. Hollywood captured the European public's imagination, and they wanted more. But why is it only a one-way street? Because while you can do or say whatever you want within the United States, the Constitution also says that the American government can regulate what goes in or out. During the Cold War, anything that might be considered communist propaganda could be seized by the post office and never delivered. Books or even souvenirs from communist countries, for example.
Evil, bro.
Pamphlets criticizing US foreign policy.
Evil, bro.
Immigration reached a low point in the early pamphlets criticizing.
Bro. I could just imagine what the US foreign policies are. I can just imagine, bro. I know it's probably so just state in Guatemala restores rule of united fruit. United fruit. I don't even want to know what they talking about.
US foreign
man.
policy. Immigration reached a low point in the early 70s, with only 4.7% of Americans being foreign-born, limiting Americans' interaction with different cultures. Obviously, it wasn't totally like North Korea. Plenty of foreign movies and music were allowed into the US. But the media that caught on was either already Americanized or so plastically exotic that it doesn't really say anything about the culture where it's from. The Beatles were British, yes, but they got their start covering American rock and roll musicians. When John Lennon stepped out of line, the American government made sure that he knew it. Movies imported from Japan where most government made sure that he knew it.
John Lennon is a British citizen and former member of the Beatles singing group. Lennon has taken an interest in extreme left-wing activities in Britain and is known to be a sympathizer of... Bro, I might sound wild to some of y'all that's watching this, but I don't even know what... I'm not even going to say... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't even know what the left wing and right wing, like, I don't know what they think. Like when people say liberals and communists, left wing, right wing, socialists, and all that, it sounds like mumbo jumbo to me, man.
When John Lennon stepped out of line, the American government made sure that he knew it. Movies imported from Japan were mostly samurai flicks, and very few movies set in the modern day. The film Ikiru is widely considered the best Japanese film ever made, if you ignore people who have never felt the touch of a woman. But this existential drama about a depressed, lonely man was only given a limited release in California, and the poster was edited to feature a stripper who is only in the movie for like 1 minute. The narrow stream of European movies that made it into the USA came in the form of the French New Wave cinema, movies that were stylistically inspired by American films, but also so stuffy that few audiences would ever want to watch them anyway.
Qu'est-ce que ça peut te faire?
Ça ne va pas, non?
Non, rien. Je voulais dire cette phrase avec une idée précise. Je ne savais pas quelle était la meilleure façon d'exprimer cette idée. Ou plutôt, je le savais.
Oh, he's saying it's
Maintenant,
boring?
je ne sais plus.
This was further stifled by the Hays Code, a set of extremely strict regulations that were in place from 1934 to 1968. If you've ever wondered why old black and white films seem so dry, it's because of these rules. Some things that were completely banned from ever being shown in any film included bad guys winning. All movies had to end with the police outwitting the evil criminals or the criminals causing their own demise.
Wow.
Any nudity, even the silhouette of a booba, is an instant ban. Blood or dead bodies. When people get shot in old films, they usually just clutch the wound, but no actual blood is seen. Pointing a gun at somebody in the same frame. This is why guns are always held at waist height. Kissing for longer than 3 seconds.
What? Wow.
Interracial couples. White people as slaves.
What?
Criticism of religion or of any other
interracial
country.
Couples?
Naturally, this prevented the more...
Bro, this just goes to show you how deep media and movies can play a trick on your psyche, man, and your mind, for real, bro. And I'm thinking about it now. If all these other countries just gave up and said, okay, you know what? We're not even gonna make movies no more. We're not even gonna push like media and pass on our traditions and our culture. We're just gonna let America just run rampant or whatever. All the other countries would probably be acting like America, bro. Salute to y'all for standing strong and not falling into the American, I guess, like fake culture, bro.
Interracial couples.
3 seconds though.
White people as slaves. Criticism of religion or of any other country. Naturally, this prevented the more artistically liberal European films from being shown in American cinemas, and when they did get a US release, they were usually edited to remove the violence in movies and sex on TV to comply with the good old-fashioned values. At least until the rules were abolished in 1968 and replaced by the age rating system we have today.
Okay.
Even as the Cold War ended and the internet gave Americans unparalleled access to the rest of the world and all of human knowledge, they still preferred to hang out on a handful of American-made websites dominated by Americans.
Bro, what do you guys hang out on, bro? You guys are on these websites too. Literally right now, we're on YouTube, bro. Everybody's on these websites. It's not just America. What are you guys on over there that's not American for real? Like that. The top 5 social media websites are American, aren't they?
The insular culture of 20th century America has carried over to the 21st. Tightened border security after Septiembre Undécimo means foreign musicians can have a hard time getting visas.
That's tragic.
In 2002, the touring visa of a German orchestra was cancelled after it was discovered the cellist had a criminal record for shoplifting a pair of tweezers in 1991. When they tried again for a visa in 2004, the cellist had to undergo an hour-long interview with Homeland Security and had to physically pick up his visa from the US Embassy. Global cultures might be more present in American media, but they're always through the lens of American characters, such as The Last Samurai starring Tom Cruise, where he plays a white guy in
in movies, and it's not even just, I'm glad you just said that, because that's with everything, man. And I realized that, and I never was able to put my finger on it, but this movie right here, you got a white guy with like playing a samurai, bro. That's disrespectful, man. And we know that, and honestly, I know that. I'm sick of seeing it, bro. I want to see them in their original form. If it's supposed to be an Asian guy, let it be an Asian guy all the way. Jackie Chan is even Americanized a little bit too. It's not just the real. I know it's not the real Asian. I want to see the real Asian stuff, bro.
1870s Japan. 7 years in Tibet, another American in China. Indiana Jones, American in Egypt. The Bourne
Wow.
Identity, American in France. Inglourious Bastards, Americans
Because
in...
it makes you look at them as if they're the standard or the ideal of what every other thing is like. Like, this type of person is just the standard, bro. And that's a problem.
German-occupied
That's
France.
a problem.
And for the ladies in the audience, Mamma Mia. For a movie set on a Greek island, there's not a single Greek person in the entire movie.
That's crazy.
Is there any hope for America, or are they destined to be a stinky, dumb redneck country forever? Maybe.
That picture is funny.
In 2000, 92% of the music in the USA Top 50 was American, making it the second most insulated market in the world after Pakistan. But today it's more like 60%. With Brits, Canadians, Latin Americans, and today it's more like
Glass Animals, Harry Styles, Kid Laroi, Justin Bieber, Adele, Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, Elton John. Honestly, Canada is like America 2.0.
60%. With Brits, Canadians, Latin Americans, and Africans making themselves more seen in the charts. Each year, there are more foreign films nominated at the Academy Awards than ever before. What used to be an American-only pay-to-win awards show is now an international pay-to-win awards show.
Glad you said that.
As social media platforms have an element of randomness in what they show users, there is a higher chance of Americans being shown videos from other countries,
Yes.
forcing them to take note of what is happening.
Absolutely.
It seems the revolution will be TikToked. I've been giving the impression throughout this video
I like that. I like that. Because the revolution is being TikToked. TikTok is... They tried to cancel TikTok, remember? Earlier this year, people was going crazy. Oh, they're going to cancel TikTok. The government was really trying to cancel TikTok. And then the creator of TikTok had to go and get questioned in front of everybody. I remember that.
that it's all or most Americans who are terminally uneducated. But American ignorance isn't as Americans who are terminally
I like this picture that they got for a typical American, bro. That's
uneducated. But American ignorance isn't as evenly distributed as you'd think. That study I mentioned earlier, when adjusting for English proficiency, income and education levels, Americans are really no different from their European counterparts,
Let's go.
and in some cases, marginally smarter. Knowledge about the wider world even correlates to political views, and not in the way that you'd think. A 2022 survey asked Americans 12 questions about the world, such as who is the British Prime Minister, what does the Indian flag look like, and what this symbol represents. The people who answered the most questions correctly were committed Democrats and committed Republicans. Swing voters, those enlightened centrist chads, were the stupidest. Only 40% of moderate Republicans could name the US Secretary of State, compared to 60% of convicted Republicans. Only half of moderate Democrats knew that the USMCA trade agreement replaced NAFTA, compared to 66% of convicted Democrats.
Bro, how do
Also,
you
I
guys
just
be
thought it was
knowing
funny
this
that the
stuff?
more Americans know about the European Union, the more favourable view they have of it. So are Americans
okay.
ignorant? Many of them are, but it isn't their fault.
Bro, look at how detrimental this is for us as people, man. We walking around with these big ass screens in front of our face. It's a whole bunch of radiation coming off from these screens. These LED lights are hurting our eyes. This is so bad, bro. This is honestly bad for the human body, bro. All of these lights in the screens right here. It looks good, but it's not good.
It's a mix of geography, American imperialism, Cold War paranoia, moral puritanism, and economic factors that create a paradoxical nation that is both the most expansive empire, but also an informational prison of their own making.
Yes.
God bless you, stupid bastards.
God bless you. Yeah, that was a honestly educational video. I might have showed a little bit of my ignorance in here, but don't beat me up in the comments. I mean, if you do, then do what you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But honestly, any information that anybody can share, though, please let me know. I'm willing to learn, bro. I'm willing to learn. Hey, and I'm not on here just blindly defending America. Like I said, America is evil in a lot of different ways, bro. So we out of here, though. Let's get it. Come on.